Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's been a while since Nigeria recorded any major aviation mishap, but the usual complaints about inefficiency, lack of professionalism, and know-how continue to trail her local airline operators. In order to improve on this negative perception, the Buhari administration, right from inception, unfolded an ambitious program of facilitating the ease of doing business atmosphere, starting with her airports. That effort may have started yielding fruit with the decision of the International Civil Aviation Organization to recognize Nigeria for improvement in aviation security and outright deficiencies. Tributes by two executives of the ICAO says it all. Audit team leader Stephen New said, in quotes, "Nigeria surpassed our expectations. I'm very impressed by the National Security Program." That statement was echoed by another audit team member, Karen Sadoyan, who commended the quality of the certification at the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. We're now going to have a conversation around all of this with Chris Aligbe, retired aviation executive and chief executive officer of Bedu Jane Consult, a West African-based corporate affairs and aviation consulting company that provides advocacy and client service. Welcome to the program, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you.
Well, good to see you again.
Thank you.
To discuss your favorite subject, aviation.
Thank you.
But this award from the International Civil Aviation Organization, is it an award for real achievement, in terms of changes that have occurred since 2017 when President Muhammadu Buhari met with the ICAO leader and promised that a lot will be done in the aviation sector? Or is it an award for expression of commitment to do a lot more? Whichever way it is, what is the evidence that you think has justified this?
Thank you very much. Once again, I'm happy to be before you. Normally say a slaughter team. I won't be slaughtered today.
You are safe.
I'm safe.
We're just having a conversation.
Thank you. You see, ICAO is not an organization that one can play around with. You don't joke with ICAO because they are very serious about what they're doing, because air safety is something that every country of the world, every nation of the world is bothered about. So once ICAO is doing anything, any statement they make about any country, they are serious about it and they can put their force behind it. So when ICAO says this country is not doing well, that country is not doing well. If he says this country is doing well, that country is doing well. For Nigeria, there are facts on the ground to justify what has been said. Don't mind what some of our colleagues say in the social media or write somehow. Many times they are not properly researched, and that's the problem. You see, this program with this commendation didn't just come from the blues. It started way back in 2015. I think what the minister did when he was appointed, he being an industry person also, and he having
Hadi
Sirika. What he did is he being an industry person and having spent some years also in the legislature, he was on the Senate committee, Aviation Committee, before ever he became a minister. So he had full on hands enough information about the industry, and he has a passion also for the industry from what he has done. What he did was he sat down with the executives and the professionals in the industry and drew up a safety program for the country, a country safety program that must be followed. And that's what is that he put out before ICAO, before the US, before the UN. It was accepted as something that can lead any nation to the point that it can globally join other nations that can be said to be safe in terms of aviation operations in the area of aviation. And so he followed this consistently. And what happened is that, unlike what used to happen before, ministers come, the first thing they do is change chief executives. That's their first job. He didn't do this. He studied the people and found out that they had professionals around and put them together. So allowed them to implement the program they have put together. That's why we are where we are. UN had a program for aviation school training for safety. Of all, they looked at 25 countries. Given Nigeria's roadmap on security, they chose Nigeria as a pilot program. And they trained for 3 months. They trained Nigerian safety professionals. That's one. Secondly, all throughout Asia, there's something we call AFI, African and Indian Ocean and Asia countries together. You have airports. In all of them, about only 25% of them have certified airports. And no country, none of them has 2 international airports certified. They only have 1 international airport certified. Only Nigeria has 2 international. Abuja and Lagos are certified. Only Nigeria has 2 countries of all these. Like in what you read on the ICAO team leader in safety audit, when they came, they were amazed that Nigeria has up to 4 or 5 ICAO certified auditors that can be used to go to other countries and look at their safety programs. And these people are in NCAA. In other countries, you can have 2, 3 that are not from the Civil Aviation Authority. Some of them are from airlines or from other places. It's only in Nigeria, world over, that you have in the Civil Aviation Authority 5 certified ICAO auditors. So a lot has happened. FAN Training School for AFSEC, Aviation Security, has been named by ICAO as the Regional Center of Excellence for training aviation security personnel. NCAT, Nigerian Civil Aviation, College of Aviation Technology, has been named as Regional Aviation Training Center in all other areas of aviation. So there are facts on ground to justify what ICAO has done recently. In the West African sub-region, you have Banjul Accord Group on safety oversight. They call Bagasso. Is domiciled in Nigeria because of Nigerians' advancement in the area of safety. And the chairman of that Bagasso is the DG of NCAA. It's an international organization. Recently, not too long ago, it was established. And DG of NCAA is the chairman of that organization. These are all in recognition of what Nigeria has done within the last 4 years. It's amazing. And the ICAO audit, Nigeria has never scored above 60 or whatever. The last audit, safety audit, Nigeria had 96.45%. That's the score. So there are facts on the ground to justify it. It's not a fluke.
Although that's an almost perfect score. And on Wednesday, the Federal Executive Council has now approved 2.4 billion naira for the indoor shooting range. So can you let us know the thinking behind that? Is it with a view to improve on those advances that you've mentioned? And what is the practical impact for the Nigerian air traveler?
First and foremost, yes, it is true. They've approved that because for quite some time, I think it was early last year, the minister secured approval that AFSEC officers, that's aviation security officers, that are in FAN, that they can carry on the process of making sure that the airport is fully secured, breaches and whatever, because they patrol the airport, particularly when aircraft are landing and all those things, that they, in case of their breaches, so they are being trained to handle arms in case it is necessary to use that. But what happens is that security and safety, the first and foremost thing which every passenger, any air travel passenger bothers about. It's when you get on board the flight, you think about, okay, what have they done? What is in the in-flight service, the service on board? How good is it? You begin to compare. Well, the first thing that you are concerned with, am I safe? Is this trip that is this secure? And so what they have done, they have advanced safety and security to the point where Nigerians feel a lot comfortable. And there are so many things that have been done in the industry. The only thing is that this is on the other side of the industry where it is not usually visible. After the certification of our 2 airports, they have carried a study about 18 airports in the country, NCAA and NAMA. They looked at 18 airports to make sure that in terms of a minimum, to see how easily aircraft can land or take off with a lower visibility. So aircraft can take off with 150 meters visibility, but most of them will land 300 and 300 meters visibility. But efforts are on to make sure that you can land on 0 visibility. They are trying to equip some of the airports now. Program is done so that aircraft can land on 0 visibility, which happens elsewhere. So much has been done.
Absolutely. And would that have to do with the instrument landing systems that they're putting in place? Because it has been said now that by November, both in Nnamdi Azikiwe and here in Murtala Mohammed in Lagos, we're going to have new instrument landing systems put in. So is that to do with radar technology as well? What exactly do instrument landing systems do?
Thank you. It is to aid this in landing in very difficult weather conditions. That's why the issue of zero visibility landing.
So what was the state of our ILS systems before?
Before. Now, this thing. Obviously, speaking, so many times flights have had to return to other airports on getting to even Abuja or Lagos, or whether it's Port Harcourt or Kano. When they see visibility is so low and they cannot land, they have to divert them to another airport to go and land. And that has been the state. There's been gradual but little improvement. But this time, I think the government, the minister, as a way with the industry, they have taken it head on that Nigeria must achieve 0 visibility landing in at least 2 of its major international airports. And they want, after Abuja and Lagos, to escalate it to the other international airports, Kano, Port Harcourt, and probably Enugu.
Well, let me ask you about, it's good to know that when we put our mind to something in Nigeria, we can achieve a lot. You've given us a lot of very positive information about Nigeria, and I'm sure if those skeptics who've been saying, what kind of award is this, if they listen to you, they will know that indeed there is a lot that has been achieved in the aviation industry. But let's talk about the Akano Ibiam International Airport, which was shut down by the minister. It's been about 50 days now, and many, Southeasterners are protesting that, that airport is strategic enough for it not to be shut down indefinitely. Do you have any information on the latest development on that airport in Enugu?
Thank you, Doc. The Enugu Airport is something that one, will take interest on. I take particular interest in Enugu. I'm not from that part of the country. I'm from Delta. But the fact of the matter is that Enugu International Airport, if they look at the history, the Southeastern soldiers, they have a right to say this has happened, that has happened. But like the Renaissance Group, I read a piece by the Igbo Renaissance Group. They pointed out clearly that they have had people in critical positions. They've had, in fact, from the Southeast, aviation ministers. If you start counting them, 3. From Kema Chikwe. Oh, Kema Chikwe was there. Kema Chikwe.
No, was she aviation or transport?
No, she was aviation.
I see.
From Kema Chikwe, who was there. Also, you have Njeze. Fidelia Njeze, who was there. You have Stella Odua, who was there. You have Chidoka.
Osita. Mr. Aligbe, let's take a short commercial break. Okay. When we return, you'll do that assessment of what the Southeast Ministers of Aviation have done or not done. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned. Still watching the morning show here on the Arise News channel. Still with us in the studio is Chris Aligbe, retired aviation executive and chief executive officer of Belgian Consult. Now, before we went on break, we were talking about the what looks like the indefinite closure of the Akanu Ibiam International Airport, also known as Enugu Airport. And I brought it up because the minister said he shut it down for reasons of safety and security. I mean, the report is that the runway is bad, no landing, no good landing aids, and there was even a market close to the airport with birds flying all over the place and affecting traffic. But you were going to say, well, the Igbos should not complain because they've had many persons from that part of the country as Minister of Aviation.
No, I'm not saying they shouldn't complain, but it's not to reflect on it because there are certain things you do. If you don't take time, you slip into politics. It is not a matter of politics, okay? Yes, Enugu Airport is important. Enugu Airport is sitting on the third air traffic, on the fourth air traffic emporium in this country. There are about 5 of them in a country where you can draw tremendous air traffic passengers. Enugu is sitting on one. So over time, the politics of Enugu being international airport has been there. It was Yaradua that first made it, determined that it should be international airport. Okay, 2020, we had to put it in the Vision 2020 then. So it went on all this thing. But what I'm saying is that they've been there, they did not focus on that airport. So the Renaissance Group identified that, and I appreciate what they say. They are saying now it is time for this to be done, and Sirika has decided it's going to do this. The first thing is to shut it down because that airport has deteriorated completely, the wrong way, and the environment is not such that you will just allow it to go there after you have approved international flights going into it. Any little thing, it will destroy our history. The image we have, the reputation we have acquired in the global aviation industry. Our profile has never been as high as it is today. So everything must be done to stop that. What I know is that, remember Port Harcourt Airport was closed indefinitely. For over 5 years, it was closed. If you go now, the Port Harcourt Airport, the terminal and the runway, the terminal is the best, one of the best in the country now, if you go into that place. So it was rebuilt and everything was done. Enugu Airport needs to be so rebuilt. The runway is not a question of patching it. It's a question of reconstruction of the runway. It has to be completely reconstructed. And if they want it to be an international airport, they should give room for it to be finished, to be done and done well. The only thing is that there should not be any delay on it. They should properly engage the minister and know what he's doing. And the Southeast governor should come in together to see what they do to help the situation, rather than complaining about it. They should engage. And that thing, the Enugu Airport has to be properly done if they want it to be an international airport. And that's what I think. And government should, vote money. I know that when Sirika takes steps so far, he means to do what he wants to do. That was what happened in Abuja Airport. Some people didn't want Abuja Airport to be closed. They say, we can work on it, we can patch it. One day, he woke up and shut it down and did a good job on it. So that's what should be done in Enugu. We should cooperate. It's a question of come together, we sit down, understand ourselves, so that airport should be properly done. That's what I think.
Now, the federal government had promised Nigerian domestic air carriers to give them assistance with meeting the sort of demands that they cannot meet with their own capacity of the bilateral air services agreements. What do you think has been done in that regard? Because Nigeria reportedly loses 500 billion naira yearly. What are your thoughts on the government's efforts?
500 billion naira?
Yes.
$2 billion annually, ticket sales alone. That's what Nigeria loses. What kind of assistance? There's only one airline today that you could say maybe you need to prod to move. That's Airpeace. There's no other airline.
To move, how?
No, we are talking about assistance.
Yeah,
in terms of assistance, you see, the fact of the matter is that all others are not in a situation. It's only Airpeace that is talking about international operation. All others are not talking about it. And so we are thinking of just one airline. What are you going to do?
This is already going to Dubai, not so?
Yes. The first thing to do is designate those airlines on international routes. Airpeace has a lot of designations on international routes. Some domestic airlines have. I know that ARIC has. I know that Medview has. But it's only Airpeace now that is operating and giving a semblance of operation. That's why we are here. The airline subsector and the airport subsector with reference to infrastructure. These are the two Achilles heels of aviation in Nigeria. And unless we sort them out, we will not fully join the global community in terms of the committee of nations that you can say these are nations of the aviation industry. That they are two Achilles heels, and we must resolve them.
Absolutely, and to add to that point as well, because so much money is being lost for weakening the Naira because it's not reciprocal. The amount of international flights coming in compared to the amount of indigenous flights that we have going out is not reciprocated at all, and it's a huge problem. And of course, when you've been on this program with us, we've discussed the entire controversy around Nigeria Air or Air Nigeria that was set to launch and never launched, etc. Do you think, though, under Hadi Sirika and everything he's actually currently proving to be as Minister of Aviation, we may get to the point in this administration where we do see a national carrier, or is that a far-stretched thought?
It's not far-fetched. It's not something that is far-fetched. Oh, I know the last information I have, Nigeria Air will come to be. It will come to be. I cannot tell you the time because I'm not the minister. I will become an imposter if I get to that point. But I can reassure you, from all that I know, maybe as at yesterday, except there's new information today, Nigeria Air will come to be.
Will it stay? We lack a maintenance culture. Look at ARIC Air, for example. Used to be able to do full flights over to New York, etc., and now fully grounded, except for, of course, domestic flights and a couple around the area. It's the maintenance culture that's the problem.
No, let me tell you. You see, it's a pity that what happened to ARIC happened to ARIC. ARIC had the best maintenance because it engaged one of the best in the world, Lufthansa Technik, was maintaining for ARIC in the ARIC, even in the maintenance hangar that ARIC had. Lufthansa Technik was there. And today, ARIC is most unlikely to grow. It's most unlikely to grow because the vision of those who own ARIC today is to collect the money ARIC is owing them. They're not thinking of expansion. They're not thinking of building an airline that will compete with others. That's what ANCOM's responsibility is give us our money. If ANCOM sees somebody who will buy ARIC today, ANCOM will sell ARIC and record their money and go away. So the people who are running ARIC today have no vision about it. The only vision they have is make the money and pay the debt. That's why they are there. And you don't blame them. People are focused on their responsibility. Until ARIC is returned to somebody who has a vision, I wish there could be a situation where ARIC will go back to the original owner. I know the original owner had a vision. Unfortunately, what happened. But he had a great vision for the airline. But people today have no vision. ARIC will not grow beyond what it is, unfortunately. And you don't blame anybody. You don't blame ANCOM. You don't blame this thing. ANCOM is trying to collect its money. If you can pay ANCOM today, ANCOM will abandon ARIC for you and go away. So there's no domestic carrier that is growing. The only one that is giving, that's why I say, is only Airpeace. Okay, but this country, we need about 3 major carriers. 3 major carriers to be able to respond. There are 96 bilateral services agreements in our country, 96. How many are we responding to? Look at the little Ghanaian flag carrier, AWA. AWA is flying 34 frequencies out of Nigeria weekly. 34. There's no other airline, not British Airways, not Emirates, not Ethiopian Airline that is flying as much as that. AWA is flying 34 frequencies out of Nigeria.
Mr. Aligbe, this improvement in safety and deficiencies or whatever, let's break it down further for the benefit of the average Nigerian traveler. There was a time, there was a lot of concern about perimeter fencing of our airports. Do you have any information as to what has been done in that regard, what progress we've made, what kind of improvement we have recorded, and also the theft of people's luggage? You know, there was a time people were on social media and they were complaining that some of our airports are so funny that even while the aircraft is taxiing, some hoodlums would just open the luggage compartments and then take off with them. Or are those are not part of the issues?
No, it's not that they're not part of the issues. A lot has been done in terms of perimeter fencing. I'm sure for a long time you never had any of this thing, cows or goats going into the wrong ways as we used to have before. That's part of the safety program that the minister put in place, security and safety. Perimeter fencing.
Are you sure that cattle headers no longer go into the wrong ways?
At least, let me tell you, our major airports, I think because you cannot handle all the airports at the same time. So I will not tell you, I'll not be able to tell you whether maybe in Sokoto or whether in another airport, but I know that Abuja, I know that Lagos, I know that Kano, I know that Port Harcourt, I know that these places have been properly taken care of. There are other airports also that are being worked on. I know that Kaduna, you can't have such incursions and everything. Enugu, we were just talking about, is an open place with market around this. I think that's one of the major concerns of the minister, while he's saying, look, the work to be done in Enugu is not just a small job. It will include this perimeter fencing. It will include clearing a lot of all the market people around the airport conurbations in order to make sure that they have a safe airport. It is for everybody to key this into his or her head while addressing the Enugu airport issue. So this has been done. The question of on a runway, luggage and aircraft is running somebody. Nobody, let me say it today, nobody can go near an aircraft moving and open the luggage compartment.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Aligbe.
By the engine will suck you in.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all we'll be able to take, and we enjoy the conversation very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.